মোটামুটি 8:45 হচ্ছি 15 মিনিট আগে। ধরো আস্তে আস্তে বেলা মানুষ হয়ে যায়, আর্লি হওয়াই গেলাম আর কি। ও দেখা যায় আমরা লিঙ্কন কাউন্টি হসপিটাল। গুড সাইড হইল তুমি আওয়ারলি কিতা পাই যায়, পেমেন্ট পাই যায়। ওয়ার্স সাইড হইল উভয় উভয় কাম করা লাগে লাগে না, এটা ট্রেন্ড হয়ে গেছে। আর হইল গিয়া সামর্থ্য নেই, বুমবাং বেশি, দ্যাটস দ্য ইস্যু। ওইলা বাইরের ওয়েদার -1 ডিগ্রি, আসলে খুব বেশি কিতা নাই, খুব বেশি যে -1 হয়ে ডরাই যাওয়ার মতো এরকম কিছু হয়েছে নাকি। সব বুঝা জানি, আল্লাহ জানি। আচ্ছা, আমরা প্রিজন ওদিকে, লিঙ্কনের পার্কিং ওদিকে হয় ও স্নোর দেখা মিলি গেছে, আস্তে আস্তে স্নো পরে। বিসমিল্লাহির রহমানির রহিম। আজকে 16 তারিখ, লিঙ্কনে -1 ডিগ্রি বাইরে আছে টেম্পারেচার। আজকে আমার সেকেন্ড ডে যাইলাম মক্কা মানিত। 4টার সময় উঠলাম, খানি টানি খাইয়া ব্রেকফাস্ট করিয়া ওরও নাগলাম।
We're here to see you today. Okay. Do you know where you are?
আদর্শ মানুষ হয়ে গেছি, ঠিক 5টার সময় বার হইয়া। আজকে একটা রেকর্ড করছে, খালি নাস্তা করার সময় খালি বইছি আর কি। আদারওয়াইজ পুরো দিনও খালাস আমরা দিনের পেছনে কিতায় সেখানে ইচ্ছি ওয়েব কোনটা কোনটা বেড়াতে একটু লাগিয়ে যায় আর কি। ওই বনে আস্তে আস্তে তো টেনশন এমন কঠিন কিচ্ছু নাই। গিয়াও গোসল করিয়া তুরা জোড়া দুধ খাইয়া সত্যি বানাইতে হইব। So that's all for today. 16 জানুয়ারি 2024। আর আমার কার্ডটিতে অ্যাক্টিভ হয়েছে না গো। আজকে জানুয়ারি 17, টেম্পারেচার অ্যাজ ইউজুয়াল -2 আছে। ও ভাইয়া আস্তে আস্তে ঢুকলাম লিঙ্কনে, ভালো হয়ে গেছি। 15 মিনিটস আগেও আইয়ে গেছে এই দুবার হোগা।
What goes wrong where, and why does it cause incontinence? Okay. You see what I mean? Because
অলরাইট অলরেডি 5:40 বাজে নামাজ শেষ করলাম গুড সাইড হইল যে আজকেও একাডেমিক সেশন আছিল 1টা থেকে 2টা পর্যন্ত অ্যাটেন্ড করলাম মেইন তো আসলে খাইবার লাগি অ্যাটেন্ড করা আর এখানে যেটা বুঝলাম আরও ওয়ার্ডর এরাও জেরিয়াট্রিক মেডিসিনের আন্ডারে জুবাইয়ের নাম আহমদ জুবাইয়ের বেচারা প্রেজেন্ট করছে আর কনসালটেন্ট 2জন আসলা যদিও ইন্ডিয়ান তবে খাইছিলটা কি ও বিজ্জত করা যে কনসালটেন্ট শর্মা নাম চিনছি ও কনসালটেন্ট যে সময় ইংলিশ কনসালটেন্ট বা ইংলিশ কেউ রিপ্রেজেন্ট করছিল সেশন এখানে বিলাইল্লা এখন চুপ আসলো রাস্তে মাতলা সিম্পলি হইলে কেউ খাইছত 2 নম্বর হইল এর বাদে নমাজও আইলাম নমাজ বাদে ঠিক গিয়ে আমার গরিবানা স্টেথোস্কোপ লইয়া গেছিল তো সেন্ট্রাল মসজিদের গ্রুপ আছে ওগুলো দিলাম মেসেজ তো আধা ঘন্টার ভিতরে আলহামদুলিল্লাহ দিয়ে গেছে তাছাড়াও করে আমরা ভুল করিও নিছে আর যদি ইচ্ছা করিও নে স্টেটোর অবস্থা দেখিয়া ফেরত দিলেইছে আর কি আর তো কিচ্ছু নাই আর আজকে ফলে এক্সপিরিয়েন্স করলাম লেট নাইট খাম খারাপ হয় প্রায় 30 মিনিটস লেট হয়েছে মাঝে মাঝে তো আর 10 মিনিট গেল আলহামদুলিল্লাহ খারাপ নাই দিন পালাও গেছে নতুন কনসালটেন্ট যে ভালো লাগছে মনে করছিলাম জেরিয়াট্রিক মেডিসিন সবচেয়ে কম খামোর জায়গা এখন ধরো এখানে ল্যাঙ্কাস্টার হয়ে একটা ওয়ার্ড আছে ল্যাঙ্কাস্টার ওয়ার্ডে ইন্টারেস্টিং হইল গিয়া কেন ছুটির আগ পর্যন্ত পেশেন্ট আর কি ওয়েট করে এর আর SHO আছে রেজিস্ট্রার আছে এই হিসাবে এরা আরামে মিঠুন আমরা ইউনাইটেড লিঙ্কন কাউন্টি হসপিটাল থেকে বাড়াইছি মিঠুন আজকে খুব খুশি এখানে খোঁজেন বাকি তো হয়েছে খো জাতির উদ্দেশ্যে তোমার ব্যাংক অ্যাকাউন্ট খুলছে কি হলো কি আমরা খুশিতে কিতা করতাম আমরা বুঝিয়া পাইলাম না
Video should be quite interesting for you, so I will play that for you now. Please bear with me with sharing screens. I'm hopefully going to share the right one. And then if you let me know when you can see and hear the video. By putting a thumbs up.
The audio isn't playing at the moment, Jen. Are you able to unshare and reshare potentially?
The NHS in Lincolnshire provides healthcare for thousands of people across our county. Sustainability is paramount to everything we do, and we care about people and our planet. On the 1st of July 2022, NHS England made the commitment to become the first net zero health service in the world. As one of the integrated care systems that make up the NHS, we are steadfast in our resolve to make a difference and achieve our collective net zero carbon targets and ambitions. The impact of climate change on both the environment and our health and well-being is now recognised on a global scale. Heat waves and floods, illnesses caused by parasites, viruses and bacteria, and conditions related to air quality, such as asthma and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, are all threats to health that could rise as climate change progresses.
As a coastal county, flooding is a serious issue for Lincolnshire. The Wainfleet floods in 2019 brought the impact of flooding for our community back into focus. The town saw 2 months' worth of rain fall in 2 days, leading to a breach in the riverbank and the evacuation of almost 600 homes. With sea levels deemed to rise in the future, it is predicted that we will only become more vulnerable to flooding. As part of NHS England's net zero commitment, our trusts and fellow integrated care systems have created green plans. These plans outline our impact on the environment and what we plan to do to reduce it. One aspect of our green plan is climate adaptation, which will help us to reduce the impacts of flooding across our estate. The green agenda will not only have global impacts, but will also improve the health and well-being of the community we serve, creating benefits and opportunities for health inequalities, providing social benefits to the community, and fulfilling our role as providers of health and care for Lincolnshire are additional advantages of tackling climate change. We will do this alongside our county and district partners, including Lincolnshire County Council.
We have adopted their 3 guiding principles. Number 1, don't waste anything. Number 2, consider wider opportunities. This is about partnership working and pooling our resources to deliver more benefits. Number 3, take responsibility and pride by leaving our environment in a better condition than it was found. We've made great strides over recent years, and it is important to highlight that we are not starting our journey from nothing. Here are some examples of what our trusts, who provide community, mental health and hospital care, primary care, and our Integrated Care Board, which buys and plans NHS services in Lincolnshire, have achieved so far.
Many trusts have already installed electric vehicle charging points to help us electrify our transport. To allow our staff to travel more sustainably, some trusts are working in partnership with a local bus company to provide discounted bus travel, while others are offering salary sacrifice cycle to work schemes. Furthermore, one of our trusts has received a commendation from the Carbon Trust, while another has delivered 17% of all its patient contacts in the community through digital means. We endeavour to examine every aspect of our business and the services we provide, taking a holistic approach to reducing every aspect of our environmental footprint, whilst working hard to provide sustainable, high-quality services now and in the future.
Reducing our carbon emissions cannot be achieved by government or governing bodies alone. Everyone needs to play their part, and we can't take this journey without you. The NHS is made up of people, and our staff make us strong. If you have been thinking about a way to make your workplace more sustainable, we need you. If you're worried about the future of the planet, but not sure what you can do about it, get in touch.
You can contact us at licb.green.lincolnshire@nhs.net.
You can help us care for people
and our planet.
So for me, it was great to hear about some of the initiatives that ULHT that are taking place here with regards to becoming greener. And like this at the end of the video, if you have any ideas or if it's something that you're particularly interested in, then please feel free to contact them on the email. And you can find more information about this on the intranet, and you'll be able to access that when you get your emails, etc., when you start your new role. So I'm going to share my screen with you again. So we're going to move on to thinking a bit more about the patient experience now. So the trust is made up of lots of different roles, and everyone will have different responsibilities, but it's important to remember that we're all working together for the same goal, which is to make sure that our patients get the great care that they deserve. So I'm going to show you another video now from the Beryl Institute, but it just really sums up the idea that regardless of your role, we are all here for that same reason, and we are all, whether you're clinical or non-clinical, as I am, we do have our role to play in making sure that our parents as well as our patients get the best care that they deserve. Okay, so let's hope I can share it with sound this time. So again, just give me a thumbs up using the react button if you can hear and see the video when it starts playing.
If you
So although not an NHS video, it is from the Beryl Institute. I think it really does sum up just how important everybody within our trust is and the role that you play. I am in the OD team, so although I'm not patient-facing, I'm a facilitator, so I'll be doing lots of different training sessions, so you might see me again at some point, but hopefully the job that I do impacts on the training that I would give, impacts on how managers might work with their staff, or how you might talk with your patients. So we all kind of have that role to play, and we all do impact. So it's about thinking how you fit, into that wider picture of the patient experience. So I'm going to share my screen with you today and show you the values from the NHS, which I'm sure lots of you will have seen when applying for your roles. I think it shared a different screen again, so let me try. We'll go again. So can you see my patient story slide? Just give me a nod or a thumbs up if you can. Yep, amazing. Managed it again, that's good. So I'll move on to our values, which I'm sure you will have all seen. So you can see them around the hospital. You can see them on any of the communication items you might have received from ULHT. They are all over the intranet as well when you have access. And hopefully these values will have supported you to make your decision to work here and vice versa in you choosing us and the trust choosing you. Your line managers have obviously seen those values and behaviours within you. So there's been a framework developed using the 5 trust values, and they kind of guide us to maintain that outstanding care personally delivered. So just as a reminder, the values are being patient-centred, compassionate, respectful, thinking about patient safety, and excellence. So I've got a question, if anybody is feeling brave enough to answer. Does anybody know why we have values? I was asked this question on my induction, and I did find it a bit tricky. So if anybody's feeling brave enough to answer, does anybody know why we have values in any organisation? Feel free to write it in the chat if you would rather than answer.
Is it to treat everyone fairly?
Yeah, that's part of it. Anybody else? It is a tricky question. I think we all know our personal values and we know the values of the organisation, but I think being able to describe exactly why we have values can be sometimes quite tricky. So yeah, they definitely feed into our culture, just looking into the chat. They're what we believe in. So we need the values because they give us a standard to base our expectations of. So we need to understand that whilst we are members of the ULHT team, we are all accountable for the way that we behave, a bit like what Andrew Morgan said this morning. So how we behave and how we show up to work. So our values are all compassioning, and whilst your personal values may differ slightly, we are all here to provide that high quality, excellent, safe care in a respectful way and in a compassionate way. So for those of us who aren't patient facing, we are still enabling others to do that. So I'll move on to just culture, which you will be able to see on the screen. So at ULHT, you'll hear more about it as we move into April, but we're starting to have a just culture approach. So here, the culture is one of civility and respect. So we've taken this from the learnings from our colleagues in Merseyside, and they've championed just culture, and it enables us to really understand where our opportunities for learning are and how we can support one another and ensure we're continually improving, striving for that outstanding care which is personally delivered. So I'll share some more of my screen with you. You'll be able to see. So it's about creating a safe to fail culture. So not just about feeling physically safe, but also psychologically safe. Creating a naturally thinking approach. So when things go wrong, how can you learn from it? It's about not having that blame culture. It's about thinking how can we work together to make sure these things don't happen again. Nobody goes out to make a mistake. It's all things that we can learn from. Our values, they feed into our strategy, and it's about having the patient mindset. So we're all thinking patients first at all times. And it all comes under the umbrella of that civility and respect. So for Just Culture, there's 3 strands. There's open communication, so ensuring that you feel safe as staff to voice your concerns and your ideas, about having your contributions recognised. So we're all encouraged here to have ideas, and how I found it so far is that these ideas are always acknowledged and they are valued, which is great. Mistakes, again, part of that Just Culture approach. They're not failures, but they're learning opportunities. So I think it's a different way of thinking about things. Often we're always scared to make mistakes, but they're never intentional, and it's about how you can learn from them. We are all human, and it's about learning what can we do next time to develop and improve. So again, you will hear more about this Just Culture as we move into April of this year. So moving on to championing our differences. So it is a legal requirement to have an equality, diversity and inclusion policy. And in the NHS, we've got to work with this for both part-time and substantive full-time staff. So the ULHT is accountable to laws such as the Equality Act of 2010, and there is a responsibility to minimise any health inequalities, as well as ensuring that there are engagement opportunities for the workforce. So there are thousands of different people from different backgrounds, and there's lots of people delivering thousands of different services every day of every week. So there's over 9,000 staff in ULHT currently, and we actually have one of the most diverse workforces in Lincolnshire, which I think we're really, really lucky to have. There's staff from over 20 different countries from across the world. There's lots of different languages, people from different cultural backgrounds, which is amazing. And in the UK, we are held accountable to the various different inclusion laws. So I have a video to share you, which kind of explains in a bit of a better way than I have about how we view that here at ULHT. So I will share that with you now. Bear with me while I sort my screens out. So again, give me a thumbs up when you can hear and see the video so I know that it's working as it should.
Equality, diversity and inclusion in the workplace. When we think about the topic of equality, diversity and inclusion, we sometimes think of the Equality Act 2010, but this is only the tip of the iceberg. The 9 protected characteristics are very important in identifying what is protected by law. But what about our behaviours at work? So let's take a closer look at this topic. Equality means each individual or group of people is given the same resources or opportunities. In the UK, the Equality Act 2010 safeguards those with protected characteristics from discrimination in the workplace. Equity, on the other hand, recognises that each person has different circumstances and allocates the exact resources and opportunities needed to reach an equal outcome. An equity approach emphasises that everyone should not be treated the same, but according to their own needs. Diversity is to respect and enjoy a wide range of cultural and individual differences, thereby including everyone. Diversity goes beyond recognising that we are different in measurable ways. Diversity is inclusion. And inclusion at work reflects an environment where all individuals are treated fairly and with respect, regardless of their background, identity or circumstance, having equal access to opportunities and resources which allow them to contribute to the organisation's success. The idea behind the iceberg model is that culture is pictured as an iceberg. Only a very small proportion of the iceberg is visible above the waterline. The tip of the iceberg is in fact supported by a much larger, although invisible part underneath the water. This part of the iceberg is its foundation. Above the waterline, examples of visible parts include food, style of dress, music, and language. But the powerful dimensions of culture are the more difficult to spot. The social norms, the values, the basic assumptions about space and time, and the concept of justice and of self. The iceberg model of culture implies that the visible parts of culture are just expressions of the invisible parts. It highlights the difficulty of understanding people from different cultural backgrounds, because although we see what's above the waterline, we cannot immediately realize what the foundations are. Unconscious bias is implicit preference. It refers to a bias which we're unaware of and which happens outside of our control. It is a bias that happens automatically and is triggered by our brain making a quick judgment and assessment of people and situations. It is influenced by our socialization, background, cultural environment, and personal experiences. It may be responsible for negative assumptions and unwitting discrimination against people who may be considered different and do not share the same values, background, and culture as ours. When we embrace organizational equality, diversity, and inclusion, there are huge benefits for all of us. Increased productivity, a rise in creativity, more innovation, fast problem solving, and better decision making. So we all have a duty to foster and embrace equality, diversity, and inclusion. Let's get started.
I'm just going to check quickly because I'm aware some of you were able to see that video and some of you were not. If you could see it, would you just give me a quick nod? Danny, were you able to see it, Danny?
The audio and the video were just slightly bit slower behind. So if
Okay.
you want, I'm happy to share the next one because that'll be our
Yes,
last.
please, that would be great. Yes, thank you. So for the next quick video, it is a light-hearted way of explaining basically what you've just seen in terms of equality, diversity and inclusion. In my previous role, I have been a primary school teacher for 9 years. So this video for me was ideal because it's very much what I am used to, and it sums up quite a really important message, but in a fun way with a Pixar video. And you can't go wrong with Pixar videos, I always find. So I will ask Danny to share that for me, okay?
What's up? Jim tonight? Welcome to BRO Capital. Yeah, so you'll be up on the 4th floor with investments and, what? The Tigers are up by 20? Yes! Anyway, it's entry level, but your resume was by far the strongest. I'm sure you'll fit right in.
Thanks! I still think it's unbelievable that I'm really here.
Unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable.
Ugh, I'm so excited. I have a really good feeling about this. Good morning.
falling. Ooh.
Morning, gentlemen.
Hey, what's the difference between a porcupine and a BMW? With the porcupine, the bricks are on the outside.
Yeah. Good one. So, why do spiders weave webs? Because they don't know how to crochet.
Is that like a sport or something?
Like with the needles and, you know?
Hey guys, staff meeting.
Earlier,
As you can see, we've got a big fat failure on our hands. So, finance wants answers. Ideas?
Excuse me.
Okay, so what's your strategy here? Why are they what they're asking? Simple, straightforward.
Oh, guys, let's bring finance in and knit our strategies together.
What? Nah, you're being too soft. We gotta be aggressive. Yeah, we gotta be aggressive.
Alright, okay, let's put a pin in it. Who's down for 2-for-1 wings and Swifties?
Hey, we got everybody?
Yeah, that's everybody. Alright, first round song Gronkowski.
Of course, now those can't stand it. What the?
Gronkowski.
Pearl? Did she always sit there? I don't even recognize her.
So then he says, I know this suit is expensive, baby, but at my apartment, it's 100% off.
Oh, she tells better jokes than you do.
Hey guys, staff meeting. Well, these results speak for themselves. But finance is still asking for...
I say we go for it, and if finance doesn't like it, they can kiss our ass.
All right.
Well, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's go. Happy hour at Swifties.
Is that everybody?
No, hold up. Not everybody.
You don't love this place, Pearl.
Girl, you're gonna eat so many wings.
Oh, thank goodness you're still here. I had such a time trying to find this place. Oh, I missed my stop and then I didn't know what floor we were on. Excuse me, sir. Because Kyle from HR went home early, so I went door to door up each flight.
Leave the knitting at your Nana's house.
What I mean to say is that I can't wait to be part of the team. Guys?
Where are you going?
Hi, I'm Pearl. I'm Lacey.
What are they doing?
I was such a fright.
Hey guys, this is Lacey. Welcome to BRO Capital. You'll be up on the 4th floor with investments.
Thanks. It's still kind of unbelievable that I'm here.
I would say it's unbelievable.
Wow. I have a really good feeling about this.
Well, come on, let me show you around. Tell us all about yourself. We do love a good yard.
Hey, Pearl, you guys coming to Swifties tonight?
Is a wool sweater scratchy?
Thank you for sharing that, Danny. So, when I first watched that video, I never knew I would want to cry for a ball of wool. But it did make me quite sad when watching that, but happy towards the end. So I guess my question for anybody who, again, is feeling brave enough to answer or write it in the chat, feel free, is what would be your one key takeaway for you from that video? What was the main thing that stood out for you? Just give you a couple of seconds to either write it in the chat or raise your hand, unmute yourself, whatever you would like to do. Standing up for yourself. Yeah, I think that's really important as well, and also remembering that, kind of going back to earlier, that you bring value, and you, if we bring it back to the ULHT, you were hired for a reason, and knowing that and having confidence in that. You can see some things popping up in the chat. Let me have a look. So yeah, about not having any prejudice, equality. So in terms of at the beginning of the video, how do you think, if that was you, if you were Pearl, how would you feel when you first joined the company? If that was the company, if you had started at Bro Investments, how would you feel? You can see in the chat we've got isolated. And I think we could see she felt isolated as well, especially when they all went out for drinks. She was very much left on her own. We've got dejected, excluded, afraid, excluded again. So yeah, I think that's not how you would want to feel joining an organisation. And hopefully, I know I've said previously that I've been here for a couple of weeks now. That's certainly not how I felt when I've joined my team. I've joined a really, really great team who I felt included and valued in a short space of time, and I'm hoping that's how you'd feel as well. So in terms of at the end, how did the Bro Investments, how did it change? So how did, when Lacey was there at the end and Pearl and Lacey were kind of together again as a team, how different did that company look? I'm hoping we might say it is improved. It was definitely more inclusive, more diverse and accepting. Yet they embraced diversity. It's more accepting. It's teamwork. And teamwork was definitely one of the things that stuck out for me when I watched it for the first time. When you saw initially them all having that team meeting, and Pearl was there, they made no progress. They got nothing done. They basically spoke about where they were going to go for drinks after work. But towards the end, obviously when Lacey was there, it was a more inclusive culture. They could work together. They had new ideas, which meant they could continue to develop and move forward. So I think that was just a really nice video to sum up kind of what we've been talking about so far. So we're going to move on to talk about well-being, and then we'll have a bit of a break. I am slightly behind time, but the next section of the afternoon is about staff benefits and things, so I'll try and go through those bits quickly so you're able to answer some questions at the end. So I'm going to share my screen with you again, so just bear with me. So just give me a quick nod again if you are able to see the PowerPoint screen. Yep, amazing. Thank you for the thumbs up. Oh, I've just realised I've not gone to talk about our networks. So I'll do that first, and then I think I might move on. So we have our break first, and then I'll come back to wellbeing. So we've got lots and lots of networks available to us in ULHT. So we have the Pride Plus network, which is for our LGBTQ plus and allies. So recently they have been a headline sponsor at Lincoln Pride. So all three partnerships from NHS Lincolnshire were able to walk together. They've also recently been to networking with Pride event, which was in June, where different organisations from NHS, Police Force, the Ambulance Service, they all got together to celebrate and to support and talk about how they can strengthen relationships and make progress for LGBTQ plus patients and staff, which is great. We also have the Women's Network. They've done lots. I think they're one of the long-standing networks within ULHT. They celebrated Women's History Month, International Women's Day. They've also developed and recently had approved the breastfeeding policy. There's also been funding agreed for menopause support and service for staff. And they're also actively working on a policy to develop fertility and baby loss policies within ULHT. So they're doing really, really great stuff. We've got the REACH network designed to support and engage individuals from different ethnic backgrounds on issues that affect their lived experience in the workplace and beyond. So, for example, they had their first ever Africa Day celebration in honour of over 307 African heritage colleagues. So that was celebrated across Lincoln, Pilgrim and Grantham. We have our Maple Staff Network, which is for colleagues with disabilities and long-term health conditions. So they've also been working on policies to support staff to request adjustments to support them at work. They've also launched campaigns that you might have seen around the hospitals, such as Hidden Disability Sunflower, which raises awareness that not all disabilities are visible. And there's also a deaf awareness project at the moment to develop compassion for colleagues and patients who are deaf or hard of hearing. We've also got our Carers Network, which was launched last year in June, which was actually the outcome of one of the ULHT staff surveys. So it was launched at the beginning of the Carers Week, and they also work in collaboration with the Lincolnshire System, the Recovery College, Carers Steering Group, Carers First and Young Carers. We also have lots and lots of military around Lincolnshire, particularly. So there's the Armed Forces Network as well. So you don't have to have been in the Armed Forces. You could be, a spouse, or like me, I'm a military child. So you are able to join. You don't just have to have been in the military. So all of these networks are available for you to join. You can find out more about them on the intranet, but it's just there's lots of lovely information online about the different things that they're involved in. So if you want to get involved as well, then please feel free to have a look. I think they all have Facebook groups as well. So yeah, have a look when you join and you start your role. So like I said, I'm going to stop for a break now for 10 minutes. So if we come back at 5 to 3 for a quick 10-minute break, have a stroll, have another drink if you need to, and then we'll come back for the final part of the afternoon. So please feel free to turn your cameras off, turn your microphones off, and then we'll come back at 5 to 3. Thank you. Right, I'm going to get started. So I hope you all managed to have a bit of a break, have a nice drink. We just have the last section of the afternoon to go through. So we'll be covering well-being, staff benefits, and things that you might need to know for your first couple of weeks joining us. And then finally, you can ask some questions at the end. So hopefully you can see some different faces on the screen. This is wellbeing at ULHT, so if you can, just give me a nod. So wellbeing at ULHT is tiered, so it's our responsibility to stay well, and there are several programs that ULHT can offer you to support you to do this. So as well as us, keeping fit, doing exercise, healthy eating, all of that wonderful stuff, there's also some things that ULHT can do to support you with that. So if I move to my next slide, I can show you. ULHT has an app, the Health Assured app, that you can download. It's got lots of different things on there, such as wellbeing trackers, breathing techniques for mindfulness and mental health. There's health plans and mini health checks. I think there's lots of recipe ideas on there as well. So please feel free to download this app. And I think there used to be 24-hour support within that app, but I might be wrong. But please do download that app, have a look, and hopefully you can find something to help you with your well-being on that app. There's also on the next slide, there's also the EAP, so the Employee Assistance Programme. So I'm going to stop talking just for a couple of seconds, just for you to note down that number and the name of the EAP. You can also take a photograph of it with your phones if you'd rather. So the EAP can support you with various things you can see on the screen. So stress and anxiety, bereavement, relationship advice, legal information, financial well-being. It's not just for you personally. It can be used for, I think, your immediate family. But it's also always worth noting the number so that if you notice any... that your colleagues are struggling, with stress and anxiety, it's a number that you can pass on to them to support them with their well-being as well. Within ULHT, we've also got health and wellbeing champions, so to support staff within their teams and wider. So I think currently there's around 250 health and wellbeing champions, and there is an ambition that there will be one on every ward and in every department and every team. So if that is something you are interested in, then you can look into that further when you start with us. So if you do need more specific support with your wellbeing, then you can obviously talk with your line manager and they can signpost you to occupational health. Their details are available on the intranet that I've spoken to you about a few times today. So you may have already connected with the occupational health as part of your recruitment checks, but they are always there for you. So just please bear that in mind as you start your role with us. So we've had our break, so I'll move on. So for the opportunities for you, so talent management at ULHT is something that we're really working on. We're trying to promote the current opportunities of learning that are currently on offer. So we're on a cultural journey, and there are very big dreams, as Andrew shared this morning. So some of those dreams we're already working on and what we've done so far to achieve these. So moving forward, we know that, the new starters such as yourselves and me, we play a huge part of, making those big dreams happen, and to ensure that we have the very best working for us at ULHT. They recognise that they need to invest in us to move forward and to kind of fulfill those dreams. So to do that, there's a broad range of development opportunities that you can access. So some are relevant to your role and the type of work you do, and some development opportunities are available for everybody. So some of the things that we can do to support you are, for example, we have the culture and leadership department. So they kind of have lots of different leadership and development programs. So they are keen to champion like compassionate and respectful leadership. They've got programs to support you with your learning and assist you with guiding you and your teams to continually strive for outstanding care. So they've also got the ULHT coaching program. So you can access qualified and experienced coaches, which is really valuable in terms of, I think when I've done coaching previously, it's really good for empowering you to try and make decisions and think about how you can adapt and makes things better for your team. So I've always really enjoyed coaching, so it's something I'd be interested in going forward. We've also got the Improvement Academy, so it's a really large scale and growing Improvement Academy, so you're very welcome to explore. I'm sure they'd be happy to have you. So they've got different resources and they do different courses to support you with making changes. So if you're in your role and you think of some changes that you think would help to improve patient care, you can contact them and they will help and work with you in order to make those changes. We've also got different talent pipelines, so they work with schools, colleges, universities to help to support new people coming into the organisation and to develop career choices. There's different apprentices qualifications that are available to you, ranging from level 2 all the way up to masters, which I think is really great, and that's for both clinical and non-clinical roles. Around 330 staff members currently are on apprenticeships, so I think it just shows how important they are here, and if it's something you're interested in, you can always contact them to find out more about it. In terms of clinical education, so if you are in a clinical role, you might be invited to some classroom sessions, or there might be some in clinical areas that you're interested in that you can book yourself onto. That's within the clinical education team, so you'll be given additional practice skills to support you in your role. We've got the library and the research team, so they can provide you with journal articles from the BMA, for example. They've got knowledge share, so they can show you newly published information. There's ebooks. There's lots of resources and services that you can find out about on the intranet to show you what the library and the knowledge service can do for you. There's also at Lincoln, Grantham and Boston, the library is 24 hours as well, so it's worth bearing in mind. There's also wellbeing training, as mentioned earlier. We've got the wellbeing champions, so you can undertake wellbeing champion training, but there's also the mental health first aid training, which is run by Mental Health First Aid, which is a really valuable course, I think, for noticing not only your own mental health and well-being, but seeing it in others as well and how you can support them. Finally, there's the medical research team. So the research and innovation team, they work with commissioners, funders and research practitioners and patients to develop and promote high quality research and innovation at both local and national levels. So that's probably something quite exciting for you to get involved in. And they always love to hear from anyone that's interested in research. So you can find out if that's something you're interested in. You can have a look on the internet to see more about that. They can help you with research training, reports and applications to get involved in research as well. So there's lots and lots more opportunities for you to get involved in, but please have a look at the internet to see the different types of things that you can get involved in to help you develop your career. So moving on to staff benefits. So working for ULHT and the NHS comes with some automatic benefits that are bespoke to ULHT. So I'll work through some of them with you now to showcase some of the high level benefits. So one of the main ones is pension. So NHS has got a really good pension scheme, but one thing it is worth noting is that new starters are automatically enrolled into the NH pension scheme. So if it's not something you want to be paying into, it's really important that you email the pension team so that you can opt out. Otherwise, you will be automatically enrolled to pay into it. So just bear that in mind when you start. Flexible working, it's something that NHS England is committed to rolling out flexible working. Obviously, it's easier in some roles than it is in others, and ULHT is 100% committed to making this a reality. So they are working with teams right now to work out how all of the different roles within ULHT can have some aspects of flexible working within them. There's also generous annual leave allowances. So there's your set standard amount of days, but also your bank holiday hours on top of that. So it's worth looking at that within your contracts that you should have already had. But if not, you can go back to recruitment to find out more about that. We've got our occupational health. You can have a free eye test at Specsavers. There's also self-referral to physiotherapy and a foot care service, which is especially good for, colleagues who are constantly on their feet. That might be something you're interested in. There's counselling, both with through the EAP, but also through occupational health. There's vaccination, so for your COVID and your flu jabs. And finally, as I said earlier, about the menopause support, which has been championed by the Women's Network. Moving on to financial benefits, there's discounts that are specific to, NHS discounts specific for ULH. But one of the biggest bits of advice I've been given since I started is just generally to ask. So when you go anywhere, ask, is there an NHS discount available? Because the worst someone can do is say no. So do try, see if anybody takes it. There's also the blue light card. So it does cost £4.99 to start with, but you will make that back in savings alone. So within my team, I've been told that the most popular one is the 10% discount at Starbucks. So if that's something you're interested in, have a look online. You'll be able to see all of the different discounts that you will be able to have by using that blue light card. There's also salary finance. So I think there's two schemes. There's a salary finance and a wage scheme. So they can support you with borrowing, saving, and pay advance if needed. I can't advise you any further on that, but if that was something that you needed support with, then you can contact the financial team. In terms of salary sacrifice, we watched the Green video earlier, and they mentioned about the Cycle to Work scheme. So we are partnered with Halfords. So the scheme is run by a salary sacrifice scheme, meaning you won't pay tax or national insurance on it. So it saves you between 32 and 42% on your new bike and the accessories that go alongside it. The reduced cost is deducted out of your payslip over 24 months, so you don't need to worry about a big, large one-off cost. So you'll kind of be making savings, you'll be able to keep fit, and also it reduces your carbon footprint, which is always good, and spend less time in your car. If you are like me and you live miles away, you might be more interested. There's also a car lease scheme. So through the Green Agenda, a lot of them are electric and hybrid, but I think there are some diesel cars available. So it's the Trust Lease Car Scheme, so in association with NHS Fleet Solutions. So it's designed to provide you and your family with a competitively priced and trouble-free car. So under the scheme, you lease a car using the Trust's current lease car suppliers, and it's normally for a period of around 3 years. There's also the home electronics scheme, so it's similar to the Cycle to Work and the car lease scheme, but for example, if you wake up one day and your washing machine's broken or your dishwasher doesn't work, then in a similar way you could order a new dishwasher or a washing machine with salary finance. So it's always worth thinking about with those unexpected expenses that I know always come at the wrong time. There's also, it's not on the screen, but I know that there is an NHS bus discount. It is new, so you can find out more about it on the internet, but I know that the Trust has teamed up with Stagecoach to offer substantive colleagues working at Lincoln County Hospital a subsidised bus scheme. So if that's something you were interested in, you can find out more about that. So in terms of staff recognition, There's the examples of excellence. So it's a personalised professional certificate of recognition, which can be completed online, and then you will receive the completed certificate in your emails, but it can also be printed and given to staff by hand, just to show their appreciation for all of your hard work and your support within ULHT. And there's also the Staff Awards as well, which provides an annual chance to recognise the hard work, dedication of all of the members of staff, the fabulous care given by our staff members, volunteers and teams. So the events are fully funded by sponsorship, and winners are provided. I know there's I think it's a nice meal and potentially trophies. So that's something for you to bear in mind as well. So in terms of general information, so I know a lot of you might have questions about your uniforms and badges and other resources that you might need. So a lot of the time, this information should be provided to you by your line manager. So if it hasn't, this might be someone who you want to contact. If you've not made contact with your line manager yet, you might need to go back to recruitment to ensure that they can tell you who your line manager is, so that you can make contact and find out all of the information. But in terms of the things I can share with you today that you might have questions about is in terms of how to travel to work. So if you are driving to work and you're driving to LHT sites, that's Pilgrim, Grantham or Lincoln, you will be required to register your vehicle online. So we will send out a link either in the chat, but it will definitely be in the email that you'll receive after your induction today. And you do need to register your car, otherwise you could get a fine if you're in the staff car park and you're not registered. I know if you're working at Lincoln, if that's going to be your main site, the car park does get very, very busy. There are, I think, roughly 3 car parks, but there is an overflow car park as well that they're showing with the prison. At Boston, I was told yesterday that there's currently a problem with the parking because of a huge hole that's appeared in the car park. So please be mindful of that if you are working at Boston. But you will still need to register your car for this as well. And at Grantham, I've heard the parking's a lot better there. But yeah, please do fill in that link so that your car is registered, because nobody wants a fine for going to work. In terms of finding where you might be going on your first day, the best place to get the most up-to-date map is on the public website. So you might have been sent one in your recruitment pack, but I would check on the website just to make sure you've got the most up-to-date map so you can find out where you're going. In terms of ID badges, in your local induction, so that's not this induction today, it's your induction on your first day of work, your line manager should have set up an ICT appointment for you to get both your badge and your smart card. And your smart card will enable you to access ESR for booking holidays, checking pay slips. So it's really important that you've got those. And any ICT equipment that you might need for your role, your line manager should have set that up for when you have your local induction. For uniforms, if you need a uniform, then you should have received this information from your line manager. If not, then please speak to recruitment and contact your line manager to find out what uniform you'll be needing and how you go about ordering this. For core learning, obviously you've had protected time today to complete your core learning, and you can have there's some more time after I finish talking for you to have a go at completing those today. But you do have, as I said earlier, 7 days to complete the core competencies, and then 3 months, so 90 days to complete the core plus. So bear that in mind. It's really important that you get those core ones done within those 7 days. So they're accessible on the ESR website that you've been on earlier, and they are the 12 competencies that we put in the chat earlier. They need to be done within seven days. There's also the absent management service, and I will pop the number in the chat in a moment. So basically all colleagues have to ring the number as soon as you find out or as soon as you know you're not going to be available for work. So it could be at 2 a.m. in the morning, it could be, you know, an hour before your shift starts, but you've got to ring that number and explain. So you call the number first, and then your manager will call you, will contact, well, let me start again. Then they will contact your manager. So it's not a direct line to your manager. It's just a number that you will call and explain that you're not going to be at work. And then at some point within, it's automated for 24 hours. And then you will get a call back at some point to find out when you're going to be next at work. So the number... see if it's on the next slide. There it is. So you should be able to see at the bottom AMS number. If you just write that down or take a photo, whatever's easiest. Just give you a couple of seconds to write that down. So that's a really important number for if you are going to be absent from work. But like I said, you don't need to wait for your shift to start to call in sick. You can do it as soon as you start to feel unwell. And it's also important to note that you need to call this number back to say when you're going to be back at work to close your sickness episode. Has everybody managed to note that one down? Yeah, if not, I'll pop it in the chat at the end, and it will be, I think it's on the email that comes out to you afterwards. So there's also, in some roles, depending on where you are, I'm at home at the moment, there's also the opportunity for remote working. So that is something you can discuss with your line manager when you go to your local induction. There is also the ULHT charity, and there's a staff lotto as well. So you can have a maximum of 5 tickets per month, and I think each ticket is £2. It's £2 per ticket, and you can win. I think each month there's different prizes that you can win of 100 or 500 or 1,000, I think. And I think I've been told at Christmas somebody won a car. So there's also various challenges that the charity gets involved in. So I know that they've done the Santa Run and the Three Peaks Challenge. So if that's something you want to get involved in, you can find out more about it online. We have also got something called Freedom to Speak Up. So as part of the ULHT improvement journey, they've ensured that we give colleagues all the tools, all of the tools that they need to raise concerns, share feedback and take action in a supportive way. So there's a Freedom to Speak Up full-time guardian who you can all contact by simply looking her up on the internet or social media. So if there's any reason that you feel you can't talk to your line manager, then the Freedom to Speak Up Guardian is your point of contact. So this policy is really to reassure staff that there's safe and acceptable to speak up about any concern that you may have at work. If you, for some reason, don't feel as though you can talk with your line manager, then this person is who you can go to and raise your concerns with as early as possible. In terms of sharing information and sharing news, the best advice I can give you is to check out the different various comms channels, as well as on the internet. There's always the most up-to-date information available for you on there. There's also weekly executive blogs. I spoke earlier about Andrew Morgan's blog that he sends out on a Friday. So you can find out all of the information about what's been going on for different members of staff. There's a staff email roundup, goes out on a Tuesday. And also sometimes if you're on a computer, you might get a little thing that goes along the bottom of your screen, which tells you any urgent notifications. So you might find that your team as well has like a local version of an intranet where you can see all of the things relevant for your department. There's also something called staff side. So at ULHT, they acknowledge all of the leading trade unions for every discipline, and they have a strong relationship with the collective group of trade unions, and we refer to that as staff side. So in your local induction, you might be given links to various and relevant unions that your colleagues, I'm sure, will be happy to share with you which unions your colleagues are in. So your local induction, as said earlier, you should have had contact with your line manager to find out when your first day at work will be and to organise your local induction. So you'll have your orientation to the workplace. So you will have a meet and greet. You might meet various colleagues. They'll tell you about the layout of where you're working, any fire procedures. You'll have access to your ICT equipment, and you'll get your smart card and also your badges. They'll talk to you about your roles and your competence, so your job description, department procedures and standards, and rules about confidentiality, and talk to you about rotas and things like that. For policies, you'll be able to access any of the various trust policies, and you can ask and answer any questions related to policies and procedures when you go for your local induction. If you are going into a ward or a department speciality, so they'll talk to you about the department of philosophy, the structure of the department, and any communication arrangements that might differ between departments. So it's important to listen out for those. If you are having a class-based induction, so for clinical colleagues, you should have had information through from recruitment or your line manager about these. So if you haven't, please go back to them to find out the correct information about that. So I will hand over to you and ask if anybody has any questions, or have a look in the chat as well to see if there were any questions have come up. You see, so we've got Claire. Claire, I can see your hands up.
Yeah, just a quick one. I was just writing down and I missed it. It's obviously a week for the 12 core trainings that we've had to do. But for the rest of them, how long was it to get the rest of them done by?
I think it's 90 days. I'll ask Orla, would you be able to just clarify, is it 90 days for the Core Plus competencies?
Yeah, 90 days for those additional Core Plus competencies.
But also, as I'm just doing the adult and children's safeguarding one, and there's a load of podcasts, do we have to do the podcast as well, or just the course bits?
So it'll depend on what you've enrolled onto. So if you require higher than level 1, the level 2 and 3 do include podcasts, and everything that's included in that training session needs to be completed to be able to obtain the competency. But if it's the wrong thing you've enrolled onto, you can drop an email to the ELOD inbox, which is where the post-induction email will come out from, and I can take a look at it for you in a little bit more detail and make sure you've enrolled onto the right things and whatnot.
Yeah, so I wasn't fully sure because I did the first one, and then obviously I clicked, because obviously it said you've got to do 1 to 3. When I clicked on the second one, it just come up with that load of podcasts and stuff. But then I skipped the enrolment bit, and obviously it brings up the rest of the course to do. But
yeah, so
on my learning thing, it says it's, even though I've watched one of them, it's still saying it's incomplete.
Yeah, so with those, like I say, with the ones where so if you do like the ones that include level 2, that will make you do the podcast. I will just say that when it's safeguarding level 1-3, 3 years, it's not levels 1 to 3, it's level 1, but the renewal period is every 3 years. So that's what that -3 is. So if you've only got on your competency page safeguarding, so adults and children safeguarding at level 1-3 years, you'll only need to do level 1. You won't need to do any of the higher ones. So Claire, you're not showing with your surname on screen at the moment. If I've lost my notepad, if I can grab down your surname, I can pop into the system and double check that you're enrolled and everything onto the right courses.
Yeah, it's Odling.
How many D's? Is it just the one?
Yeah, ODLING.
Lovely. I'll go into the system and have a look, and if I need to, I can.
Yeah, so I don't need to do the level 2 one, it's just the level 1.
Yeah, I'll have a, like I say, without having a look at what's attached to your profile, properly, I won't know, but I'll quickly work in the background, and then I'll come back to you if there's no further questions. Before the end, I'll come back and let you know.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you all. I think I saw a question in the chat about how can I participate in medical research. So that would be a question for when you start tomorrow. You can speak with, or whenever you're starting, if you speak with your line manager, and also you can contact that the research team to find out how you'd be able to enroll in any research. And I know Danny's put the EAP number and the AMS absence reporting number in the chat as well. So if you've not managed to note those down, you can find those in the chat. Did anybody else have any questions? If nobody has any questions, I am going to ask for you to fill in a feedback form just based on the induction that you've had today. So I shall share the link with you in the chat, but it will also be in your follow-up email as well. So it will just ask you some questions. It doesn't take very long. It will just ask you some questions about how you found the induction today, about the content of the induction, about your facilitator. So this morning with ESR, you had Orla, and this afternoon you've had me, Jen. There are 2 Jens on the feedback form. There's Jenny Devlin, and then there's Jennifer Spring. So I am Jennifer Spring. So you can fill in the feedback form. There's a bit at the end if you want to write about any things, any changes that we can make, or anything else you'd have liked to have known, or if you just want to write a nice comment. It's always nice to read nice things. But yeah, if you want to have a go at filling that form in, and then put your thumbs up so that we know you filled that in. And then, Danny, I'm just going to check with you for the rest of the time. Is it to complete that core modules from this morning?
Yeah, absolutely. With the rest of the time that you have for this afternoon, if you haven't completed all of your training, then you can crack on with some of that. If you don't manage to get all of it completed today, don't worry. Like we say, you've got 7 days to do the first 12 that we popped in the chat, and then the remaining 90 days you can do the rest of your Core Plus training. But yeah, if you've got some more to do, please feel free to use this afternoon to do that.
And I'll just come back to you, Claire. I've just had a look on your profile. You do have adults and children's level 2 attached to you. So if you continue with working through the programme that you're doing at the moment with the podcasts and whatnot, and complete all of the elements in that'll take off the level 2 safeguarding adults and children for you.
Thank you.
No problem.
I've just seen a question in the chat. I found a question about EAP and AMS. So EAP, that was the number you noted down for the wellbeing service. So that's for bereavement or counselling. The AMS, that's the number for when you are calling in absent from work. You will call that number, and that will be the automated service that you say that you're not turning up for work. You can see Ali's got their hand up.
Just quick questions about this core module. Is it only we have to do it from the computer, or we can do it from iPad or our cell phone? Is it mobile friendly, or it's just computer based course? we have to complete?
All of our training that is e-learning packages are able to be played from mobile devices. We have recently, well, it's a little bit more than recently, it's probably about a year ago, we updated the system, so everything is accessible either via laptop, mobile phone or iPad.
Thank you all, and I can see G. Have you got a question, G?
Yeah, I get surveys and available on my page and accessing the ESR.
So if that's coming up, just maybe refresh the page and come back to
many
it.
times already.
Okay, so maybe completely shut down your web browser. So close down whatever you're using, Chrome, Edge, Safari, whatever it is. Close it down, give it 10 minutes, then come back to it all.
Okay, I will try that one later, maybe. Thank you.
If that's everybody's questions finished, feel free to finish the call. Thank you so much for being with us for your induction today, and I hope the first couple of weeks of your job goes well and you enjoy the start to your career with ULHT. So thank you very much. Hopefully I will see some of you around out and about around the hospitals and maybe some of the courses that I'll be doing in the future. But thank you so much for your engagement today, and we'll hopefully see you again soon. So I will end the call in a couple of seconds if nobody has any further questions, but thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. আজকে 18ই জানুয়ারি লিঙ্কনশায়ারে আমার সোম মঙ্গল রবি সোম মঙ্গল বুধ ফার্স্ট দিন চলে আজকে ইন্ডাকশন ক্লাস আছিল কম্পিউটারও বইয়া কামৰ কাম কোনটা নাই কি বইয়া কিছু দরকারি ফোন নম্বর নেওয়া কিছু জিনিস শুরু করা দ্যাটস ইট ফার্স্টের সময় শেষ হওয়ার কথা আছিল 3:30 শেষ হয়ে গিয়েছে তারারও জান পাচ্ছে আমরাও জান পাচ্ছে তো বারোই গেলাম ট্রেন লিগা লিঙ্কন সেন্ট্রাল জামে মসজিদ যেটা আছে ওদিকে নামাজ পড়া আবার চেক করবো টাউন সেন্টারে কোনানো একে আবার মাগরিব পড়িয়াও ইনশাআল্লাহ আবার ব্যাক করতাম আল্লাহর হাওলা একটা ডোজ খাইলাম আজকে স্টেজ কোচর আমি ফুল ডে ফার্স্ট পাউন্ডে বল স্টেজ কোচর লাগছে অন্য বছর নাই আবার 2 পাউন্ড দিয়ে উঠলেও 2 পাউন্ড ইন্ডিয়া একটু কস্টলি অসুবিধা নাই এক্সপেরিমেন্ট পরিষ্কার না করার নতিজা নষ্ট হয়ে নামছি ফুল টিকিট খাইলাম 5 পাউন্ডে তুমি যতবার ইচ্ছা ততবার লাউটা চুপ করতে পারবে আমরাও বাড়াইলাম উপরে উঠে বেশি লাভ হয়েছে না গাছ বেচারা পরিষ্কার করে না আজকে আবার ভুল করছি আজকে বাসে নামার কথা যে স্টপেজও নামছি না বাদ স্টপও নামছি তো আবার আটা লাগবে রাখি হবা বারোইটাও এক্সপিরিয়েন্স হয় হাঁটিয়ে যাইলাম সেন্ট্রাল মসজিদ আসর আর মাগরিব পড়তাম আর দেখি বাঙালি মিলানি যায়নি আল্লাহর হাওলা আজকে বারোর ফিতা না দেখাইলে গাছ না দেখাইলে মজা লাগতো না দেখানি দরকার রাত্রে মনে হয় বরফ পড়ছে যদিও আমরা বড়োর ভিতরে হইতাম পারছি না দেখাইলে একটু দেখাইলে সুন্দর লাগে গাছ সুশীতা ফুরিয়া 4:47 আসছি বাড়িতে আজকে 19 তারিখ 19 জানুয়ারি 2023 বাইরে লিঙ্কনশায়ারের টেম্পারেচার -1 ডিগ্রি লাস্ট উইক ডেজ শুক্রবার লিঙ্কনশায়ারে ডিউটি করি আজকে প্ল্যান হইল গিয়ে 8টার দিকে ট্রেনে লন্ডন যাওয়া আর কেক দিয়ে আমি রাগিং সাপড়ে খাইলাম না, বাট আমার লাগা রুমর যে তার নাম কি তাই দিয়ে আছে কৃষ্ণমূর্তি আই ফরগট। তাহলে আশা করি ফাইমো। আজকে স্পেসিফিক কোনো প্ল্যান নাই, ব্লাড টোটাল কালেকশন শুরু করিয়া পেশেন্ট কিনে রিসিভ করতে হবে। আজকেও আমি দেখার ট্রাই করি। ওয়েদার বলা আমি ওয়ান হইলেও বারবার দেখতে ভালো লাগে। চাল্লার ওলা হইয়া বারোই একটা 40 লাগানো হয়ে গেছে, একটা 50 ভিতরে গিয়ে পৌঁছতাম ইনশাআল্লাহ। Tipang baje আমি ইউনিফর্ম আনাত আজকে বেরিমেন্ট অফিসে গেলাম, অন্য গিয়া ডেথ সার্টিফিকেট কিনা করা লাগে, ফিল আপ করা লাগে তেমন নয় জিনিস। তো এর বাদে ক্রিমিশন ফর্ম যেটা আছে এগুলো ফিল আপ করলে 82 পাউন্ডের লাগান যায়, 80 পাউন্ডের লাগানো হয় আর কি। তো এগুলো তারা খুশি। আর ইউনিফর্ম দেখি আমি
move forward with in the first row. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله تعالى من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وآل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كلام الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. وما قل وكفى خير مما كثر وألهى، وإنما توعدون لآت وما أنتم بمعجزين. ثم أما بعد. Today, inshallah, we'll talk about an important issue in Islam, which is seeking knowledge. طلب العلم. Seeking Sharia knowledge is one of the parameters or the big pillars of Islam. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has encouraged all the companions to seek the knowledge and ask and look for the knowledge of Islam. Allah also praised those who seek the knowledge of Islam. طلبة العلم. Allah says, يرفع الله الذين آمنوا منكم والذين أوتوا العلم درجات. Allah Azza wa Jal will put high ranks for those who seek the knowledge and those who are knowledgeable about Islam. Sharia or Islamic knowledge is not determined to be for simple categories or some certain categories of people. Everybody can be knowledgeable.
ইন্টারেস্টিং হইল গিয়া ইউনিফর্ম হাউস, এটা লিনেন হাউস, এখান তো ইউনিফর্ম নেওয়া দিয়েছি। তো কেন এই দায়িত্বে আছেন মাহমুদ ভাই, আমরা সিলেটি মানুষ, তো মাঝে কথা জিজ্ঞেস গিয়া গিয়ে মজা লাগলো, সব কিছু রাখলাম। আলহামদুলিল্লাহ আপাতত 5টা বাজে। কাটতি বুঝকা টানির সময় তার আর কাম শেষ হইয়াও হয় না, সবসময় কাম লাগাই থাকে। এবার শেডোয়িং আমি টাকা দিব আমারে 5টা পর্যন্ত, টাকা আর লাগি 5টা পর্যন্ত আছে। নো এক্সট্রা ওয়ার্ক, বেশি কাম কিচ্ছু নাই, আমরা কম কামর পার্টি। আস্তে আস্তে নামাজ পড়িয়াও রওনা দিব। আর তো লন্ডন যাইতা ইনশাআল্লাহ। ওই লগে আমার বাড়ি, আর বাড়ির উল্টা সাইডে দিয়ে হইল গিয়া, ও বাড়ির উল্টা সাইডে দিয়ে ও বিল্ডিং হইল গিয়া হসপিটাল হয়ে গিয়ে এডুকেশন ইউনিট আর কি। তো ট্রেন স্টেশনে আইলাম, ও লিঙ্কন বাস স্টপ, বারোইয়া কপ একটা আছে, এদিকে বারোইয়া লিঙ্কন ট্রেন স্টেশন। এডুকেশন আর কিতা দেওয়া, অ্যান্টনি ডুফোর্ড স্কাল্পচার, লিঙ্কন পুলিশ স্টেশন, লং স্টে কার পার্ক, সিটি অফ লিঙ্কন। 19 তারিখ 7:40 বাজে ট্রেনে রওনা দেওয়ার প্ল্যান করছি। একটা বালা সাইড হইলে গো তারা দেখলাম ওটা ওই যে 2 চাক্কার যে স্কুটার লাগানোটা চলার, আই থিঙ্ক ওটা একটা আমার দরকার হয়ে যাব, বুধবার ধরে যাওয়া গেল। আদারওয়াইজ তো সপ্তাহ বালা লন্ডনের উদ্দেশ্যে যাই, বাসের বাকি ওয়েট করলাম। এখানে অবশ্য সবার গাড়ি আছে, ওই বর্তনে গাড়ি হল 12 বুধবার ধরি বাস আউক অপেক্ষা করি। দেখলানি মক্কাতে কে যে হজ করা হয় না, আমার ওই লেগে সামনে গড় ঠিক উল্টা সাইডে দিই ওই যে বিল্ডিং যেগুলো আমি দেখি সবসময়, আমি সবসময় দেখি না, মানে বারোইলে দেখা যায় কি অগুবাই দি ঢুকিয়া সোজা হসপিটাল আমানি যায়। আমি অতই ও গুড়িয়া উড়িয়া বাইদি গেছি, আমার আজকে দেখাইল তো দেখাইলাম আর কি করছো। এবার বাইপাস রাস্তায় মিলল, দৌড়িয়ে গিয়ে হামাই যাব আর যাই গড় আটাই এলাম যেগুলা দেখিলা এজরা গুড়িয়া। সময় আছে এত 8:25, আমি আইছি 10 মিনিটে। বাস স্টেশন, মার্কেট, কালচারাল কোয়ার্টার, লিঙ্কন কলেজ সব দেখা যায়, সেন্ট মেরি স্ট্রিট, আর এদিকে হাই স্ট্রিট, ব্রেফোর্ড ওয়াটারফ্রন্ট, ইউনিভার্সিটি অফ লিঙ্কন, ক্যাথিড্রাল কোয়ার্টার, ক্যাসল অ্যান্ড ম্যাগনা কার্টা এখানে নেই। ও লিঙ্কন সেন্ট্রাল বাস স্টেশন, তো বাস ট্রেন সব তো একখানো কিতাটা মার্কেট হই। বার্কলিজ পাইছি, দেখি এটিএম বুথ মিলেনি, আমার কার্ডটা অ্যাক্টিভেট করিলে। ও মার্কেট এরিয়া থামাই গেছি, মগার ওই যে কইলাম 7টা বাজলে পুরো মার্কেট ঘুমাও। ও ভালো না, এরাও জায়গাতে ATM booth. গেলাম কইছিলাম সবাই লাগাই গিয়ে গেছেন কি বাড়ি ঘর তো 8টা বাজে শুক্রবার তার উলি দেওয়ার দিন হওয়ার কথা আছে তো শুক্রবার যদি জমজমাট হইতো শুক্র শনি রবি তখন আমরা পাইছিলাম কিতাব নাম ভুলে গেছি যেন প্লাবুয়ান দিছিলাম পরীক্ষা ওলা নইলে ও মনে হয় ক্যাশ মেশিন পাইছি হেলিফিক্স লেটস চেক সব কার্ডের আবার দেখিলাই কপালওয়ালা কার্ড তিনটারে কিতা করে দিলাম টাকা উইথড্র করলাম আশা করি অন্তত অ্যাক্টিভ হয়ে গেল দ্যাটস গুড একটু মানুষজন আছেন যারা নেশন ওয়াইড ভিতরে তো আইসি ম্যাকডোনাল্ডস আছে নেশন ওয়াইড St. Mary Street रेल स्टेशन से गया हमारी वैसा बनता है বাইসাইকেল রাখার জায়গা আছে ট্যাক্সিও আছে দেখলাম आगे से टैक्सी से जैसे नहीं तरह में टाइम देखिए गाना है कि Nanavati station. You are here, very waiting room. Platform 2 Bamedi, 1, 2 Bamedi. আমি জানি না কোন প্ল্যাটফর্ম 3 যাইতাম মনে হয় তো ট্রেন উঠে গেছি ট্রেন বোঝাতে নাই কেন পথ ওয়াটার টাইম মতো ছাড়ি দিব
Hello, and welcome on board this LNER Azuma to London King's Cross.
নর্থ গেট এডিনবরার ওদিকে দেখলাম কিং ক্রস মোটামুটি 2 ঘন্টাও হোয়াইট চ্যাপেল নিজের এলাকাত ফরিজ লাগে বহুত দিন বাদে হ্যাঁ দেখছি সত্য নয় লাগে না আগে তো সেদিন হানা আইয়া গেছে জমজমাট শহর জমজমাট ওই যোগিয়া পরিচিত হসপিটাল হ্যাঁ কেন দেখলাম পেন্টিং করা হয়েছে আগে পেন্টিং আসিল না আমি যাওয়া চেঞ্জ হয়েছে ঠান্ডা আছে রে গো ঠান্ডা আছে বালা ঠান্ডা
and also Caterpillar, BAE, and Caterpillar. And Barclay has a huge amount of
যাও ইবাইতে কই আইছলাই তাইয়া কই ওখান যাইতাইতে
এখন দেওতে
এখন জামানে কিটা বাটে খাওয়া বাটরে নি না কিটা सस्ती हैवी बाजार कर रहे वो सस्ती हैवी बाजार कर रहे मार्केट की यार बारो ही रहना सस्ती है ड्रेस स्किन रहा सस्ती है आपने नहीं लोग क्या उन्हें हमारे पंजाबी किन्निया दीता वेट कर रहा हूँ सारी वीडियो का तो लोइला होते আমরা লামাগাজির চাষি বহুত বাজার করি বার হইছন কিতা বাজার করলাইতে দেখাও তো বেগাও গো ও চাষি
एक बहादुर 100 बुज़दिलों से बेहतर है अगर जरूरत हुई तो इस मकसद के लिए मैं अकेला लड़ूंगा
প্রবাসীদের রাজধানী প্রাণকেন্দ্র হোয়াইট চ্যাপেল মার্কেট থেকে 2 মিনিট দূরত্বে ইউকের সবচাইতে বৃহত্তর মসজিদ বাংলাদেশি মসজিদ ইস্ট লন্ডন মসজিদের অপোজিটে ওলগেট স্টেশন থেকে 2 মিনিট হোয়াইট চ্যাপেল স্টেশন থেকে মাত্র 3 মিনিট বাঙালি ডাক্তাররা নিয়ে এসেছে ইউকেতে প্রথম বাংলাদেশি ক্লাব 1 ক্লাব 2 একাডেমি
বহুত দিন বাদে ভিক্টোরিয়া যাইলাম এখনও তো কিতা লাগেন না ভিক্টোরিয়া স্টেশন থেকে পারইও বাম ধরি আগ বইতাম বলে কোচ স্টেশন আইব ভিক্টোরিয়াটা দেখাই লাগে
বাংলাদেশিদের রাজধানী কি এত হোয়াইট চ্যাপল
হয় ঠিক আছে
হোয়াইট চ্যাপল স্ট্রিট মার্কেট থেকে মাত্র 3 মিনিট দূরত্বে ইস্ট লন্ডন মসজিদের অপোজিটে বাঙালি ডক্টর দ্বারা পরিচালিত ইউকেতে প্রথম বাংলাদেশি একাডেমি ফর বাংলাদেশি ডক্টর যারা বিদেশে যেতে ইচ্ছুক এনএইচএসে কাজ করতে ইচ্ছুক তাদের জন্য স্পেশাল সুযোগ
Sirigala. Dah, sekarang Victoria. আজকে 21 তারিখ টেম্পারেচার 12 ডিগ্রি খুব ভালো ওয়েদার আমি ও আমার কাকটি ফুচকা সহ আবার ব্যাক টু প্যাভিলিয়ন রওনা দিলাম বিকাল 3টা বাজে 4:30 বাস হোপফুলি গিয়ে 10টার দিকে পৌঁছবো রুমে যেতে হয়তো বা 10:30 আর হলা হইয়া যাই আর মোটামুটি তো 2 রাত থাকা হয়ে গেল 2 রাত পরে এত তো একটু বেশি সব দিক দিয়ে পালা খারাপ হওয়ার মতো কিছু হয়েছে না ভিক্টোরিয়া সারিয়া এইরকম বলি মনে হয় দেখতে ভালো লাগে 30 মিনিট আগে গেছি 4:25 আমি 3:50 হইয়া বচ স্টেশনের বহুত মানুষ আছে ওয়েট করে সাদা বিল্ডিং হলে ভিক্টোরিয়া কোচ স্টেশন আর এটা মনে হয় নবাব হলতর বাড়ি ভিক্টোরিয়া কোচ স্টেশনও 7 to 8 মিনিট লাগে আর কি আইতে মালপত্র তাহলে তো 10 মিনিট আমি 3টার বাদে বার হয়েছিলাম এখানে আইয়া পৌঁছে গেছি 3:40 আগে সামনে ইংল্যান্ডের পতাকা পঁচাত্তর উড়ে যে বিল্ডিং দেখলাম তখন আমি রাইট লইতাম বলে ও হিসাবে মারি দিলাম
Take a right on Elizabeth Street, then in 70 feet. The destination is on your left.
Oh, achhi. The Victoria Coach Station.
Arrived.
Paluwashi.
Yep.
Sharif, আমি তোমাকে ভালোবাসি।
সাড়ে 10টার সময় কতগুলো শরীফ সাহেবগুলোকে আসলাম প্রায় মোর দেন 1 আওয়ার আমার এরিয়াতে ইচ্ছি স্টর্ম শুরু হয়েছে আমারও বানালাম 57 বাজে তো আইয়া পৌঁছে গেছি আমার মাঝে ফার্স্ট অফ ইসলাম বইতাম সেখানে আর না বইয়া ট্রেন স্টপও আইছি কারণ বাস স্টপ বন্ধ আর শরীফ মিয়ারে কিছু সার্ভিস লই কারণে দেখাইতাম পারছিলাম না ওই লগে আমরা ফিসও রাখি যদি আমার এডুকেশন ইউনিট হইয়া সোজা আমার যেমন আজকে 22 তারিখ সোমবার লিঙ্কনের ওয়েদার হইল গিয়া 7 ডিগ্রি গেছে কি এই সাথে গরম পড়বে তো আজকে দ্বিতীয় সপ্তাহ শুরু হোক প্ল্যান হইল গিয়া এই সপ্তাহ কম্পিউটারও পুরো দ্রুত করে আমানিয়ার বারো নেই কিন্তু গতকালকার স্টর্মে দশা দেখা যায় ও না ওই তো আলহামদুলিল্লাহ ভালো আছে আরামর আছে আজকে বাইপাস রোড যেটা দেখছিলাম ওগুবাই দিয়ে যাওয়া কিতা বললে বের में যাইলাম না সেমিনার emergency.
Come to see him, and he can charge you.
Эти простаски варельчи. ধরলাম। Thank you. Kalbon koydu. Kadar kalbon koydu. Şu ama bakırtı bu. Medical education evaluate. Medical education evaluate kahariya. Şuraya. Açı. O kalbon koydu what? Bismillah, Alhamdulillah. Kita khutbah.
I've got to start for holidays on the 24th, so I'm just going there. I'll be back in a few minutes. Is that alright? And I'll do 2 and I'll do 4 because they handed me over since before. So yeah. Oh, if I'll ask. Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully one they split.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
When I was making up for squash the first time, she was like, oh, you have yours quite strong. She's like, yeah, I like it strong. I like my men.
Mine sounds so serious. Mine was telling volunteer worker. I don't know his name. What's the volunteer called, Pat? I don't know, my name's gone into paper. You missed my little lady child. She likes it.
I mean, sorry, it's not
It's done. Thank you ever so much, Flower. Thank you.
Is that mine?
Yeah, yes, you are.
So,
how many patients we have to check AMT? Now
Oh.
bed one. Bed one.
That's done. So 2, 6, 2, 1, 1 and 6. That's it. That's it.
Alhamdulillah. Set up and about this. আস্তে আস্তে বাড়িয়ে দিলাম ঘাটটি পুষ্কা আটাইয়া এদিকে নামাজ পড়ে দিব আজকে চেন হইয়া যেটারে পাইছিলাম সেন মিয়া আমার এমনি কিতাই গেছে সাইন ইন সাইন আউট এর বাদে এটাতে একটু সময় লাগবে কারণ খুব বেশি মাংস না হোক এটা আল্লাহর হাওলা কই বাকি দেখা যাক নামাজ পড়তাম কিতাও রিসিভ করতে হইব আজকে আমার কিতাই গুবা স্টেতো দেখি আল্লাহ দিলে আইলো না আর বাকি সব তার লাগে তোর আলহামদুলিল্লাহ ওকে 22 তারিখ খাল্লাস আজকে 24 তারিখ ওখানে টেম্পারেচার 8 ডিগ্রি সেলসিয়াস। রোজ বুধবার ডাক্তারা বুধবারে দিল আল্লাহ রাহুল্লাহ হয়ে যায়। কালকেও আবার বই চালাইছে ও অবস্থা। এখনো বাতাস আছে, বাতাস আছে, ও বাতাস আছে, সময় আছে। আজকে দিন যেহেতু বালা, ও আমি ওটা আটিয়ে মানুষজন দেখিয়ে যাই, নাহলে তো মোবাইল ফিনিশ করে ঢোকা যায়। স্মোক ফ্রি ট্রাস্ট বিড়ির লগে সব লাগ বিড়ি গেল। kita tuh gaya kilang diktas awal aku sih keluar really house ini jalan ini nah Ruby House. 25 তারিখ সন্ধ্যা 7টা। আমরা মিঠুন সহর লগে টেস্ট একটু মারি যাই আবার হচ্ছে ঠান্ডা কেমন জানি না, বাইরে বুঝা যাইব। আর খুব বেশি ঠান্ডা নয়, কুট লাগাইলে বালা আল্লাহর হাওলা। আজকে পরিষ্কার দিন, সানমামা দেখা যায় এবারে আইয়া আদি ধরা যাই বলান অবস্থা। আর এজ ইউজুয়াল গাড়ি ঘোড়া চলে, ঠিক আছে নিরিবিলি বলতে যারে বুঝে যায় কি, গাড়ি ঘোড়ার আওয়াজ ছাড়া আর কিচ্ছুর আওয়াজ নাই। ইয়া কবিতা লিখতে পারলে একটা ভালো লাগলো না, কবিতা তো পারি না। এই দেখো শিয়াল মামা, ওপরে হয় ফক্স। Any last word for?
We're very happy
pray
to
for
buy
my,
the
pray for
food
my job.
to buy the food for his sister.
Where is the coach? Where is the coach?
I don't have anyone to buy something, so.
Okay,
Yeah,
have a
good
nice
night.
day. Good night, bye. See ya. আজকে 25 তারিখ বৃহস্পতিবার, কালকে শুক্রবার, বাজে 6টি। লিঙ্কনের ওয়েদার 6 ডিগ্রি সেলসিয়াস, হালকা হালকা ঠান্ডা, বৃষ্টিও আছে। আমার 2 নম্বর সপ্তাহ কমপ্লিটের দিকে। আর তো এখানে এই কথা জমিয়ে বলতেছে আল্লাহ। ঘুরি ঘুরি বৃষ্টিদের তাদের যেতে কি শুয়ে গিয়ে আমার এই মাছকে আর কি বাইরে যাওয়ার না। আপা বলতে গিয়া বিল্ডিংয়ে ঢুকে যাবে। আজকে 25 তারিখ, রাত 8টা বাজে। 8টার সময় আইলাম হসপিটালও, লাউটা চক্করও খাওয়া যায়। তারা নাইট ডিউটি কিলান করে করে অনকল হয়, অনকল কিলান করে ওকে দেখবার লাগে। কেন মিঠুন নিয়ে আসবেন আর বাইরে আমরা আবার নামত তো ভুলে যাই, শান্তি মনে হয়, শান্তি আপাও মনে আছে। দেখি তাদের খিতা করেন অনকল 1 ঘন্টা থাকিয়া নামাজ মাছ পড়িয়া ইনশাল্লাহ আবার ব্যাক করে নিব। আজকে 26 তারিখ, সপ্তাহের শেষ দিন। লিঙ্কনের ওয়েদার 5 ডিগ্রি সেন্টিগ্রেড। আমি আরামর ওয়েদার, লন্ডনও 5 ডিগ্রি, খুব ঠান্ডা থাকে, বাট এখানে 5 ডিগ্রি আরামর, কোঠার বেলায়। 2 নম্বর সপ্তাহ মোটামুটি শেষ হওয়ার পথে। ওই তো কুট পয়সা তো বড় নাই। হইতেছে আজকে যে মোবাইল আটিয়া আটিয়া ঘুরিয়া দুনিয়ায় দেখিয়া দেখিয়া আজকে আবার 2টার সময় আইডি চেকও আছে বহুত খাম পোর্টফোলিও তো আরো বেরিং বাড়িয়ে নিতে সামনের সপ্তাহ করবো রাত্রে আবার লন্ডন রওনা আইডি চেক করে আইসি রুবি হাউসও দেখি সেন্ড হয়ে এলাম ও লিবিয়া রুবি হাউস হ্যালো you have ID check? Yeah, thank you.
Do you know where you're going?
I have an ID check, so.
I thought I'd just double check. You want to be in this one here?
Oh, thank you, thank you. Hi, sorry. Yeah, I have an ID check today.
Lovely, yeah, come through.
Thank you. So we also fill up the room. Yeah, how can I exit? This way. Thank you. Arabai baroilam kun bai amailam Allah janen. Ruby House. We parking there. So ID check kichu asil na, just to give them my passport and oh, here's the parking. I think this way I should go. ও মানুষ কিছু মিলছে, মানুষ কিছু মিলছে, লড়াচড়া কিছু মিলছে। এই সাইডে বেশ মানুষ আছে আলহামদুলিল্লাহ, গাঁও লড়াচড়া আছে। ওইদিকে মনে হয় তো ঘটনা বলতে গিয়ে আজকে লিঙ্কন দেখলাম বহুত মানুষ ইয়া বইতেছে, তো চিন্তার বারে নর্মালি তো মানুষ মিলে না, অতগুলো ঠান্ডা হয়ে যায়। আজকে দেখলাম বহুত মানুষ। যাও লিঙ্কনও কিছু মানুষজন আসেন, বোঝা গেল। আলহামদুলিল্লাহ আজকে রোজ শুক্রবার, সন্ধ্যা 7:35 বাজে। লিঙ্কনের বাস স্টপও বাই রয়েছি, সোজা দৌড়িতাম ট্রেন স্টেশন। 8:20 হইলে যা ট্রেন, এর বাদে একটানে লন্ডন ইনশাআল্লাহ। তো ভালো লাগে, খারাপ নাই। এলা নিরাই ফিরাই বইবার লাগে পালা জায়গা। আর যদি তোমার কিতা থাকে গাড়ি চালানি জানলে তো আরো ভালো, ব্রুত ব্রুত হবে দৌড়ে যায়। তাহলে 5-7 মিনিট অপেক্ষা করলাম, মানুষ তো নাই, খালি আমিও লন্ডন যাবো, সবাই যাবো মো সাফে ঘুমো সব। ও গেছি ইংলিশ মাথু না যার হয়তো বাইরা দেখি সে আইন আইরা না, ও সাফা সাফি বলতে বই আল্লাহর হাওলা হইয়া উঠি ট্রেনও যাই আমরা দেশের বাড়ি। পাউন্ডল্যান্ড পাউন্ডল্যান্ডে গেলাম, সেটি তো খবর পাইছি না। পয়সা বলতে বুঝতে বাজার করেছে ঠিক আছে ও আইলাম বহুত জায়গা তো এরিয়ার আগ্রহীলাম না ট্রেন ছাড়ার সময় হচ্ছে লাল নীল বাতি জ্বলে গিয়ে নীল জ্বলছে না খালি লালও জমছে লাল চলছে মানে লড়াচড়া নাই ট্রেনও যাইতো লাল আর হলদি হওয়া জ্বলে হলদি চলছে লাইট না লালও বলি দেখি লাইট ট্রেন যাও আচ্ছা ট্রেন যাওয়ার সময় করা যায় উপরে দিয়ে উঠিয়া ব্যাপার কি তো খেয়াল লাগে না চলার সময় তোমার যদি খুব তাড়া থাকে শুধু উঠিয়া পাস করে লাও আর নাইলেও বাইর সিস্টেম বালা সিস্টেম খারাপ না বিসমিল্লাহির-রহমানির-রহিম। আজকে 23 তারিখ মঙ্গলবার। লিঙ্কনের টেম্পারেচার 5 ডিগ্রি। আলহামদুলিল্লাহ ওয়েদার আরামর। আমি চাইলে ওবাই দিতাম পারতাম পাতাই রে, বাট টাউন দেখিয়া মানুষ দেখিয়া যাইতে ভালো লাগে। জানি না সকালে তো আর আরাম করি গোসল উসল করিয়া বার হইলে নবাবি তো কেন নবাবি পানি তো গোসল করিয়া বার হইলে হয়তো একটু গরম লাগে, মানুষ তো নেই কেন, মানুষ তো আমার ঠিক না বেশি। আল্লাহ রাহুল্লাহ হইয়া যাই, ওয়েদার বালা আসলেও বালা। এই রোডও বিজি একটু বাদে বাদেও গাড়ি যা रहा है सस्ती सिफत की टावर है गैसवर्स की बात सस्ती Ruby House or connection or scenery go হসপিটালের ভিতরে পড়ছে 8:58 বাজে হসপিটাল আইলাম
be able to cross-reference you. Right, so I'll get started with the agenda for today. So we're going to start now, obviously we've done the register. We're going to move on to past. We will have Andrew Morgan come to speak to us. Then we are going to move on to Orla. My colleague, she's going to be helping you go through the applicant dashboard, so learning about all of the core training that you need to be doing today when you've got that protected learning time. We'll have a break around 1:30 until 2 for you to have your lunch, and then at 2:00 we'll come back for the corporate section of your induction. So we'll do the introduction to ULHT. We'll look at championing our differences, and we'll also look at well-being at ULHT as well. And then you will get another just a 10-minute break. Then we'll talk about spotting talent, staff benefits, general updates, and then there'll also be time for you to ask any questions that you might have that you've thought of throughout the day. And then at 3:45 until 5, you can carry on with any of the core modules that you've got to do, or any of the Core Plus modules that you have on your ESR area applicant dashboard. So So we have about a couple of minutes until Andrew will be here. So if you want to get comfortable, make sure you're got a drink ready for when Andrew joins us at 9:30. I think, Katrina, have you got your hand up? Do you want to ask a question? Katrina, have you got a question? I can see that your hand's up. If you want to write it in the chat as well, that's okay. So I've just been told that Andrew Morgan is actually in an urgent meeting, so we're going to play you the video instead. So I'll just get the video up for you. So it's the same message, so don't worry. So my colleague Danny's going to pass me the video so I can share that with you. So if you want to give me a thumbs up when the video starts, just so I know that you can hear the video.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Andrew Morgan. I'm the Chief Executive at United Lincolnshire Hospitals NHS Trust. Just wanted to say a warm welcome to you. Welcome to the Trust and welcome to your induction. First thing to say is a huge thank you for joining us. Always know that joining an organisation is a choice. We've chosen you and you've chosen us. So delighted that we've got to that position, that between us we've decided that you've got the right experience, the right skills, the right knowledge and the right values to pursue a career with our trust. And as I say, absolutely delighted that you are with us. As we get to know each other over the coming months and hopefully years, you'll get to see that I'm very much of the view that this is a people business. We employ great people like you to do great things for other people's loved ones. And at some level, it's no more complicated than that. And my whole approach is about if we have a happy, well-motivated, well-led, well-engaged workforce, that's the sort of workforce that will always deliver, whether you're doing the things that we do, healthcare, or whether you're doing anything else. All the evidence suggests that that's true. So what I try to do is surround myself with fantastic people, you and all the others who've joined us, give real clarity on what we're trying to do, put every bit of support in place to help you be successful at your role, and then let you get on and do the role, because we've decided you're the right person to do it, and therefore we're going to trust you to do it. And when you put all of that lot together, that's how we make our success more likely. And it's also how we can help you to have a fantastic career with us. So we're equally interested, how can we develop your career? How can we give you learning opportunities? How can we give you all of the professional and personal development that you may need, alongside all of the staff benefits that we offer as a key part of the NHS, and also the other health and well-being offers that we have there to just help you to be at your very best. And as we do all of that, just want to stress how important our values are. We have got a set of values. They're about patient-centred, compassion, respect, safety and excellence. They're really important. They run alongside our integrated improvement plan. So you'll see a phrase, outstanding care personally delivered. That's the whole point of the organisation. That's the plan that sets out what we're going to do. That plan and the values should drive everything that we do. So please make the right choice about your behaviour. Please sort of live and breathe those values as you help us to deliver outstanding care personally delivered. In effect, make the right choice about your behaviour, and that's about how you treat and respond and deal with our patients and our visitors, but equally how you deal with colleagues that you work with. And we need you to do that because we want this to be a great place in which to receive care. The whole point of the place, after all, but also we want to make this a great place in which to work. If we get those two things together, great place to receive care, great place to receive to work, I think.
Joining us as Yusma, what is your role, just so I can make sure I've got the right person up?
I'm joining as an FY2 in a few weeks.
He's just taking his time. I do apologise. Claire, your hand's gone up.
Yeah, I've just tried to log on, and then it just took its time. Then it's telling me that there's too many login attempts.
Okay, let me pop a note of yours down, Claire.
So let me go to it. Just took a while, and then it said it just failed with login attempts.
So is that when you've done the username, not the username, the email address and date of birth?
My phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I got through to the thing and I've done it like that to put the password in, and it just come up, and now it won't let me redo it or anything. It's just telling me unsuccessful login attempt since your last login, 1. That's what it says.
So if
it's
you
come up with
click
now.
on that link again, does anything happen when you re-click onto the link?
That's what I just tried, and that's what happens.
So what I might do,
it's just come up.
Wonderful. Sometimes it just needs to keep trying, but that's great. So if you work on that, Claire, Yusma, I will pick up yours separately once my system decides it wants to play ball. It just seems to have frozen at the moment. So we'll quickly run through the steps of what's needed to be able to access your core learning. I will pop up once we've gone through the process of how to get on with Claire sharing a screen. Once we've gone through that, I will share my screen with the list of what we ask to be completed within today's session. And then I'll work in the background for anyone that needs to get things sorted, I will do that as well. Lovely, I can see loads of people saying that they've been done and be able to get in. So once you've reset your password and you've logged in, you will be brought to the screen that is showing on Claire's at the moment. So this is your applicant dashboard. It is essentially what you'll have when you become an employee. It changes into an employee record, which has a few more things on it, but not much more. It's all very much the same. So on this page, if you could scroll down for me, please, Claire. So what you'll be looking for is that block that says, scroll up just a little bit more, keep going. There we go. So if we leave it there, so you'll be looking for that box that says My e-learning. As your new starters, it will say information you currently do not have active e-learning classes to play. This will be because the system asks you to subscribe and then enroll before you're able to play the training. And if you aren't subscribed to the course, it says that you haven't got anything active. So what you'll need to do is if you hit that button at the bottom there, so the long blue rectangle that says Learner Homepage, if you click on that one there for me, please, Claire. It's wonderful. This will link you through into what we call our learner homepage. I always think it's the easiest place to look for anything training related. So what you'll be looking for, if you scroll down for me on the page, please, Claire. So what you'll be looking for is on the left-hand side, all our competencies that we have are attributed with red at the moment because they haven't been completed. So some of these will be core and some of them will be core plus. Like I say, I will pop up on the screen what our core modules are so everyone's able to see them, make note, screenshot them, whatever they need, and we will also pop them in the chat for everybody as well. So what you'll need to do to access the training related to one of the competencies is, I'll always go for my favourite as my example, which is the equality, diversity and inclusion training. So if you scroll down on that page for me, it will be under NHS. So keep going. So we have our local competencies, which is the 357 to start with before we then go into our NHS ones. So you'll look for the competency there, and then to the right hand side of the competency name, after that little red block, there is a magnifying glass. So if you hit that magnifying glass there, it will then load you through into this page. You will be looking for the certification for the top row, and then you'll be looking for the little blue, I say it looks like a book or a folder, but the blue details button on the right hand side. If you just click that there for me, please, Claire. It'll then take you through to a page that looks like this. Once you get to this page, you will need to press the subscribe button. So if you hit the subscribe button, it'll then do some whirling again. Then you need to press finish. And then it'll load you through to this page with a couple of tables on it, which just says that you've successfully subscribed to it, and you can now play the courses. So if you scroll down, it'll show you what the course is. You'll need to hit that enroll button on the bottom right of that table. And then once you've hit that enroll button, where the line above is where duration is, it usually changes to a little green play button. Sorry, so if you scroll down on that page for me, please, Claire. It'll then show up with a little green play button there. So you can use that to launch the class and work through that e-learning training package. If for whatever reason something happens and someone comes to the door, or you have to run out and let a dog out or whatever, if you come off of this page, it doesn't matter, you can still access your training. I will show you how to do that. So Claire, if you can scroll up on the page for me and find the learner homepage button, which will be a little person in a blue top. If we hit on that, it will take you back to your learner homepage, which hopefully it'll do a little whirling. So what it'll say, it'll show you what you've enrolled onto under that e-learning enrolments. And on the far right of that line, there is a play button. If you hit that play button, that will take you into the training. You don't have to go through all the steps again. Once you've enrolled onto it, it will appear on this page for you. And once you hit that play button, that will load the training. Does that make sense for everybody? Are there any questions on the process of how it works? Any queries? Anything like that at all? Does anyone want to do another example to run through it? Or is everybody okay with that process of how to access the training? Got one thumbs up. Is that consensus? Okay, a couple of thumbs up going. That's great. So if you're happy with this process and you want to go ahead and get started, I would say I'm happy for you to drop off of the call now and start working your way through. I'll quickly share my screen of what training you need to do because that would be helpful. So quickly let me start the slideshow so you can get the right list. Like I say, I will pop these up into the chat as well, so don't worry. So that should all be on screen for everybody now of what our core modules are. So these are the ones that we ask that you work through. Please ignore conflict at the bottom there because that is the only one that is not an e-learning package. So with that one I'm not sure how it's ended up back in there. I'm fairly sure I removed it from the PowerPoint screen, but please ignore conflict resolution on there just because it's a classroom session, and if you're clinical, you might need to request time with your line manager of when they can release you to attend the session. So all of the other ones are e-learning programs, so do work your way through those ones. Ignore conflict on the bottom there. Like I say, you can go off, you can use this time to work through the session. I know it helps to sometimes have music in the background and whatnot when you're working through these. If you have any queries, questions or anything, the Teams link that you joined this morning, drop back into that. I will be here to be able to help you with any queries. I will ask, I know Claire and Yusma were having issues, so before we head off, I will get those sorted. But if everyone feels happy, feels comfortable, there aren't any questions. I have seen that someone's hand's gone up, so I will come to that in a second. But if you're happy, comfortable, ready to go ahead and work through that training, please feel free to drop off the call and do so. If you want to hang on because you've got a question or anything, then please do stay on. But otherwise, this is your time. Work through that learning. If you need me, just pop back into the call and I will be here to be able to help you out. So I will pop to G. You think you've got it, that's wonderful. Like I say, if you need me, I am here for anything. There are no such thing as silly questions with it. So this session will be open until 1:30, and then we will break for lunch 1:30 till 2. So we will need to be back at 2 o'clock for the delivered session. That will be with Jen leading that. So do come back at 2 o'clock. I have got some other hands up. I'm quickly going to, so I'll have a look through. I'll go with hands up first, and then I'll pop to the chat if there's anything in the chat. So apologies, is it Jihad?
Yeah, I have a question, yeah.
Of course.
When I start to go, I'll start like, as you said, I choose one of the courses and I'll go inside. So, which button I'll press to go to start play?
So, have you gone through the steps?
Okay.
And so, if I quickly share my screen, hopefully you'll be able to see it. I'm going to apologise that it's on Edge. I don't normally use Edge, but it's what we use here. So if you just type in either ESR login or just ESR into whatever your search engine of choice is. It'll be the first thing that pops up there. So it'll be home-ESR hub-NHS electronic staff record. If you click on that, that'll take you straight through to the login page and the home page from there.
Okay.
If you follow those steps, and then exactly the same steps as we have done before, and hitting that forgotten password bit, email address, date of birth, and then that'll take you through.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. And last hand that I've got.
Induction. Please take care and stay safe. And as I say, I shall see you at a future date. Thank you.
So I hope that video was helpful for you. Unfortunately, obviously, we couldn't have him in person, but it's the same message in the video. So when I had my induction, I think it was really interesting to hear him speak so positively about lots of the changes that have happened within the trust. And I have been told by multiple people that chocolate is one of his biggest things to talk about. So if you do see him around, maybe that's something that you could potentially bring up. And I am already looking forward to his Friday email, which you'll be getting when your emails are set up, if they aren't already, that tells you a bit about things he's been doing and also about his family life. So I do enjoy that on a Friday. So I hope you do too. So I am going to pass over to Orla now, who will be talking you through the applicant dashboard and your core modules that you need to try and complete today. So I will mute myself now and I will welcome Orla.
Helps if I take myself off of everything, so mute and camera. It does help if I have both of those on for you guys. So good morning, I'm Orla. I'm the Learning and Development Coordinator here at the Trust, and I will take you through everything that there is ESR. So all questions, queries, anything like that, we will touch upon today. I know we probably have some people that have maybe worked with ESR before, and we maybe have some people that haven't worked with ESR. So we'll have a mixture of knowledge in terms of how things work. I will put up shortly the list of the competencies that we will need to go through for the core package that is for all of our staff to complete regardless of role. We do have other modules which are classed as our Core Plus, which is anything additional that's role specific. So someone like myself who works in an admin role wouldn't have something like blood transfusion. I think it'd be a bit worrying if someone was wanting me to do that because I'd have absolutely no idea. So something like that, if you're in a clinical role, will be attached to your clinical role, but someone who's in an admin role wouldn't have that attached. I am going to reach out and ask if we've got any volunteers in the crowd that may be willing to help me out as being a little demonstration, just so we can sort of walk through the steps as a group and see how we can. So if we have a demonstration, it's easier to sort of go through and get everyone to know what they need to do. Do I have anyone that would be willing to be a volunteer for me today? I've got a hand up, but I'm not sure if it's a legacy hand. Oh, I've got two hands up. Claire, I think your hand went up first. Is that all right if I use yourself, Claire, then, as my demonstrator? Wonderful. I'm just going to pop a link in to the chat for you, Claire, and this will be for everyone to get onto ESR as well. So the link has just gone into the chat. So if you could get that ready on your computer, I believe that you're on a computer, Claire, is that right? Lovely. If you're able to get that link ready to go, and then if we go through sharing your screen, if that's okay. Yeah, I can see some nodding. Wonderful. So I'll let you get that link up, and then do you know how to share on Teams, or do you need to walk me through the steps? Not a problem. So have you got that link up and ready? Lovely. So on your Teams call where you can see myself, hopefully there'll be a ribbon on the top bar, top of your screen, where beside your camera, your mute, there's a button that says share with an arrow pointing upwards. So if you click on that share button for me, it should bring down a drop-down menu, and you should then be able to select what you want. It should hopefully bring some images up of what there is. So just click on, hopefully there'll be one for ESR. There we go. Wonderful. So this is what, when you click on that link that I've popped into the chat, what you will see. What you'll need to do is there is that login button. So log into ESR on the top right hand side. Yep, so if you click on that there, it'll bring you to a page like this. What you'll need to be looking for is forgotten. So under the username and password, there's then a hyperlink, which is forgotten, and then dash request username / password / unlock account. So if you just hit on that one for me, on that hyperlink there, lovely. It will then hopefully do some whirling and bring you to this page. So what we ask for you at this point is to pop in your email address. So it will be, so Claire, I won't ask you to type it in front of everyone, just obviously so you can keep it your email address for yourself. But what you'll do is you'll pop in your email address there, and then your date of birth, leave that username section blank at the bottom, and then press submit. So Claire, if you want to stop sharing your screen so you can type in your personal email address, whatnot, and date of birth and all of that, that's how are the first steps to getting your username and password. So if I could ask everyone now to, if they can't get to the link that's in the chat, if you're, say, on a mobile device and can't access the chat, if you open up on your phone in any web browser and just type in ESR, it will be the first one that pops up. So if everyone now could please try and go to that ESR link and follow those steps where you hit the forgot password, pop in your email address and date of birth, and then submit. Hopefully everyone should get an email, and I want to run through just in case anyone hasn't got anything before we take the next steps of sort of setting up passwords and whatnot. So if you do pop your email address in and your date of birth and it says we're sending you an email, keep an eye out in your emails. It should come through to you. It might go to your junk folder, so do check in there. Once you have that, there'll be the username and there'll be 2 links. One that will link you right back through to the login page for ESR, but it's the second link on that email that you will want, which will take you through to reset your password. Type in a password of your choosing. It has to, I believe, be 12 or more characters, uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and those special characters in that password. So if I give everyone a couple of minutes to go off, try that. Okay, if we pop in, if you've got your 357 number.
This is the way how we are logging to ESR.
Okay, so if we go back to ESR then, and then if you hit that forgotten password request username, if we click on that one there for me, please. And then I'm just quickly going into my register, just to have a look and see what we've got on file as your email address, if it decides to load for me. Everything's on a go slow today. So it looks like, have you got access to your ULH email address? Wonderful. So what you'll need to do is on that ESR page, pop in your ULH email address, and then your date of birth. Oh, actually, this might not apply for you, Michael. I've got down, are you working in pathology by any chance? Okay, I didn't know this. I'm only just having a look now. So the way that it works with our Pathlinks team then, and our pathology teams, is as you're employed, I'm assuming whatever the 208 code is, that is where all of your e-learning will be housed. So please don't worry. The reason you're not being able to get into ESR is because the way that it works is you work with us and are employed by us, but all of your training and everything is hosted at the 20. I can't remember who owns 208, but all of your training will be hosted there. So for yourself, NLAG, wonderful. I did think it was that, but I didn't want to say in case I was wrong. But as it's NLAG, then all of your training and everything will remain through there, so you won't be able to access RESR. But having a look at what you've got there, you're pretty much up to date with everything and what goes on. Just maybe have a chat with your line manager about talking about our local procedures and making sure knowing where all your fire exits and all of that sort of fun stuff are when you get on site, if that's okay. No problem. You've got a little bit of time back for yourself now, so please do join us back here at 2:00. But otherwise, you're all set and good to go. Are your hands up again? Are you still having issues getting into the system?
No, I finally did get into the system. I just had a question. So I started the safeguarding adults level 1 to 3, and when I click on the magnifying glass, there are 3 like e-learning courses. Do I have to do all 3 of them, or just like one?
So it would depend. So I know that there are various levels, and level 1 only is what we class as the core. If you have more than level 1, we do run classroom sessions and things like that for people to attend. So if for today, if you wanted to just complete the level 1 e-learning program, I would advise doing that and then getting yourself booked onto the classroom sessions, because they're slightly less lengthy than the e-learning packages. So I'd complete level 1 today and then have a look and get booked on for the classroom sessions when you're able to for the other levels.
Okay, and this should be the same for any other like courses which have like multiple courses in it?
Yes, so the only other ones where I think there will be multiple courses is along the lines of the fire, because there's a classroom session for the fire, and things like resuscitation. But for today, only look for the e-learning packages ones for today. The classroom sessions for resuscitation aren't booked through ESR. For some reason, they still have a sign-up sheet at the resus office. So that's how you'd book up for the like adult basic life support and things like that. But if you just focus on the list that was there, they're all e-learning programs, and just work your way through those ones.
All right, thank you.
No problem at all.
Hopefully, do them.
So you hopefully do. If you have any questions, do drop in, do let me know, and I'll be able to help you out. Okay. No problem. So for anyone else that was having issues with getting logged on, have you been able to get into the system?
রেস্টুরেন্টও প্রথম আইলাম, দেখি লাইকিতা আছে, মেনু দেখাই।
I'll sort out your door access, because at the moment your card won't work on the doors yet. So I need to fill a form in and that, and I'll do that. It might work tomorrow. The doors should work by tomorrow. go down to the ward with you and let you in so you can get into Carlton Corby. So you're not stood outside waiting for someone to like wait. Have you moved here with your family or on your own?
Oh, on my own actually. Only me.
How do you find it?
It's okay.
I want to see.
Only the cold is the problem.
Is it shared accommodation?
Yeah.
What are the people like that you're sharing with? Do you know any of them?
Yeah, my next door, he's from India. So, and another one is from Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
So it's international.
Yeah, interesting.
Sharing room. It's okay.
And yet, when you communicate, do you all communicate in English then to each other?
Yeah.
Yeah, that must be interesting. What are you hoping to do with your career as a doctor? Do you want to specialise in healthcare of the elderly? Or?
Yeah, actually, I already did my MSR exam, you know.
Oh, okay, so
patient, yeah.
Right.
And today I have also an interview for IMT.
Oh, really? Okay, that's good. That's good.
So I'm
Oh, well,
taking
fingers
it.
crossed. Hopefully that works out.
I'm taking it just an experiment. Let's see.
See how it goes. We need to get someone to let you in there so that you can put your stuff away, don't we? So I can't get in there.